Hello everyone, my name is El Parnaso and for today's video I'm going to join this discussion here. Because clearly when both multiple times YCS champions have this kind of difference in their point of views just by seeing the thumbnail, the title of each video, well, it's something really interesting to talk about, right? And I just really think that you really need to dig in history to try to understand the actual nature of the game that we're trying to play. And today I'm going to do that because I'm going to prove you that the nature and the logic of hand traps has always existed in this game. And what better way to show you that the first ever world championship, right? Now, before doing that, I just want to show you the breakdown of the decks that we have available. As you can see, even though there's people trying to what one could say is play the game, which is the beatdowns deck, the approach of I'm not going to allow my opponent to play as much as I'm available to do. If I can do it at first turn better, because I'm going to attempt that, is the one that got most tops, if not all of them, or almost all of them, at this World Championship. Which means that this approach and this nature of the game of not allow to your opponent to play as much as you can is something that is from Yu-Gi-Oh since the very beginning, is the nature of the game. To play Yu-Gi-Oh is to not allow your opponent to play Yu-Gi-Oh. And the ideal scenario of your opponent not playing Yu-Gi-Oh is them losing, because whenever they lose, they also lose the right to keep playing that game because they already lost. So you can see how this philosophy behind the game can be seeable even since the first World Championship, with hand destruction literally destroying the beatdowns. Now, one of the main differences that you can see in those beatdowns decks is that none of them are playing the whole trinity of discarding spells, nor they are trying to emphasize on cards like Don't Say Look. Because, as you will see, like for example at the third place, you have Death and Confiscation, the Delinquent Duo, and the Forceful Sentry, as well as cards like this time this version don't have Dunsalux, but they emphasize on the discarding by playing the Spirit Reaper as a three-off. Mostly these prior versions, like the big downs, are going to play, if not two, maybe sometimes three, or any of them. So, what's the difference between this hand destruction that got third and this hand destruction that got second? Well, as just like Yu-Gi-Oh today, like 22 years after, the side deck is one of the main factors. Luckily for us, this guy that ended up first, like Mike Rosenberg, like shout outs to him, made a post back in the day, this website Pojos, regarding what happened at the World Championship of 2003. First, he showed the deck list, and he made a quick coverage about it. I'm showing you this because this allows you, because he actually faced the one that won the World Championship. Now here, he's acknowledging that his methods of running a hand destruction deck were better, and he knew when to use his cards. Also, first I wanted to stop here for a moment because I want to give legitimacy to the guy that won the World Championship, because there's always people saying, or maybe giving you the counter argument that, oh, maybe that guy with that deck list won because of luck or blah blah blah. Maybe he wasn't actually prepared and it was just a selection of random cards without that deep explanation, right? But here you can have explicit proof that this guy that won the World Championship won it because he was actually prepared for the mirror match, and because he knew how to exploit its cards as much as it was available at 2003, right? Now, something that I wanted to say, because Joshua Smith talked about these non-playable duels. You can see that happened like ever since the beginning of the game, and it's happening because of preparation. Like, for example, Kamal won the YCS Anaheim for the same reason that he made top 4 at YCS Lima the week prior, because he made a read on the format, he built a deck around it, and people wasn't that well prepared for that specific deck and how it was specifically approached. Like I was against him at top 8 and I lose because of that. I didn't lose because the artifact make a floodgate board with negates and blah blah blah. No, it's because I wasn't prepared. And I am mature enough to admit that I wasn't prepared. I'm not gonna blame floodgates because of that. The same as this guy is doing. Look, his method of running hand destruction were better. Now, I wanted to show you this because he explained one of the second single because he lost 2-0. Now, the second duel left me there too. When he used the Lincoln Duo to kill my hand on turn 1. This means that this guy now, before even the turn started, has 3 cards in their hand. I attacked with his then he said a monster and pass. Then this guy that ended up third summoned the Spirit Dragon, a monster that puts himself in defense position of attacks. It has 0 defense, by the way. Now, the guy that ended up winning the World Championship set a Magician of Fate, which means that he recovered the Delinquent Duo, which means that now this guy Mike now will have 1 card in hand after his opponent make the Delinquent again. And as you can see, his opponent after that just summon Yata and finish the game. At 2003, a single 2 that after side deck ended up in just 3 turns. Oh my god, 22 years later it still is happening, and it's still happening because of the hindsight that each people decides to make whenever they approach a tournament. And some guys are just going to do it better, and if they do it better or they approach it in a way that they are rewarded, well, the ideal approach, the ideal reward of these approaches, of the investment of trying to take the intellectual challenge that Yu-Gi-Oh! Implies whenever you try to approach a big tournament like a YCS, for example, or multiple YCSs, or the National Championship, the Continental, or Worlds. Even like literally, this investment will, whenever it's rewarded, will take you to the ideal, like at least to attempt the ideal scenario of your opponent not playing the game. Just like now, when you make these impossible combos to break, like today's is the artifact, like some years ago was whatever the fuck we were playing, right? It's been the same for 22 years because it's the nature of the game. And if you, instead of just complaining or saying, oh, well, I'm just not going to make the investment because I'm just going to take the ideal, best, stupid, board impossible deck to the tournament, like, for example, this guy admitted did, because this guy admitted that he just took the stupid tier 0 hand destruction deck, just like someone will take right now the stupid tier 0 blah 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 deck, and didn't invest that much time trying to play in the mirror match, like this guy that ended up winning did. You can see a lot of difference because of that in how the deck was approached. He is playing 3 tomatoes, he's making the investment in Donsa Lux, and most importantly right now, for the purpose of this video, he is playing one of the first ever hand traps to play around the mirror match. Remember, the mirror match is hand destruction, and the hand trap that I'm talking about is one of the few cards that he decided to run a 3 of, which shows you how important it is, and I'm talking about Electric Snake. You hear it right, Electric Snake from Magic Ruler, a set that came out at 2002, the third set, the booster set in the TCG ever. Now, this card says, when this card is sent directly from your hand to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you can draw 2 cards from your deck. This card, it means Pot of Greed in the mirror match, because your opponent is going to make Donsa Luke to take a card from your hand, that's right, but it is random. Your opponent can choose what card is. Your opponent is going to take 1 card from your hand with Spirit Reaper, but your opponent can look the card that is going to take from you. The same with the Delinquent Duo. Therefore, you are punishing your opponent with this hand trap by making the effect that they are attempting to make a Pot of Greed in your favor. So you can see how Yu-Gi-Oh is always about impossible challenges that seem impossible or luck based or blah blah blah. Whenever you don't actually take the challenge to get over it. This guy did it, made the best to try to play around it, prepare himself to play around it, and therefore he won the world championship. And he won it because his deck was better prepared, and therefore he knew how to use his card better. And that is why one of the singles against the guy that ended up third at the world championship was just 3 singles, just like today's. Well, if you like the video and you want more history-related Yu-Gi-Oh videos, just let me know or give me an example of what you want me to dig for, and I'll see what I can do. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Share and subscribe.